The Borderlands franchise is well known among respective gamers as being the mother of all looter shooters, with unimaginable gun creations, such as guns that shoot guns, guns that scream, and guns that run away faster than your dad. Of these 157,390,706 guns in Borderlands 2, as calculated by Retro and Active, it is no mystery that any single one of these guns will aid the Vault Hunter's quests in becoming the ultimate black belt at Club Penguin Kajitsu. But what if you went on this journey alone, with nothing to take the offensive but pure brute strength? This is a question I needed answered. I'm familiar with the likes of Senza, who has completed this challenge already, and with him being my main inspiration, I decided I would simply make a small change for my own sake. In retrospect, I could have made this challenge more difficult and exhilarating. However, I lack sanity as it is and would like to retain as much of this as possible. So, no more waiting, ladies and gentlemen, as I will now inform you of the task ahead. The rules of this challenge are very simple and easy to follow, and there will be 3 main rules. The first of these rules is pretty self-explanatory: no guns allowed. Any gun I acquire during this run will either be sold or held in my inventory until I remember I have it, and this also includes vehicle weapons. 2. No bonus stats enabled. As you can see from these big red arrows on my screen, all this does is just make my challenge a little bit more difficult. Yeah, that's it. And whenever possible, for rule number 3, no grenade mods. I am giving myself only 3 chances of using a grenade mod during this challenge, and any other time there will be no mod use whatsoever. Now that the 3 main rules have been established, it's time to get into the video, and if you enjoy it that much, be sure to email me your firstborn. That's right, email me your firstborn child. I want to see him in my inbox by tomorrow at 12 o'clock sharp! Any Borderlands commentary video wouldn't be complete without me telling you why I picked the character I did, and I picked Krieg simply because... okay, that's it. After appropriate customization and naming of Krieg, it was finally time to set foot onto Pandora. This is where I met the world's most annoying robot, Faptrap, as well as mankind's best friend, Hypothermia. We both then went back to Claptrap's house, and I found out he is often a victim of aggravated assault via feral dogs on steroids. I very quickly discovered as well I would have to change my keybinds, otherwise if I'm pressing V for every single melee attack I do during this run, my thumb will have a cardiac arrest. The first enemies of this game are always monglets no matter what you do, and they were easy enough, you know, all it is just hitting them. It takes 2 hits per one. And then I made a statement to myself that I would later regret. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. We got this. We then encountered the big feral dog on steroids again, and he had Claptrap's eyes, so the only thing we could do was just, you know, call the RSPCL on his ass, which I obviously did in such a swift manner. Like, it's just so cool. After shaking my head at something I would desperately be needing later this run, we went to get Claptrap's eye fixed by the hand of a man called Sir Hammercock. After Claptrap's careful procedure to fix his eye, I did a few side missions in order to level up. This again is when I realised that this challenge was perhaps going to be a bit more difficult than I bargained for, as I was being absolutely sat on my ass by bullywongs. I handed in my side missions, accepted some more, died again, and then went on to the next area of the mission. Now, whilst ranged enemies are quite problematic during this challenge, nothing quite puts the cherry on top like leg day. When you go into fight for your life mode in this game, you become the slowest, sleepiest motherfucker on the planet. And whilst this may be fine in the actual game itself because you have guns, it's not fine during this challenge. You just have to accept your death, because there's absolutely no way you can kill an enemy. My first attempt at killing Boom Boom was actually quite close and good, however I didn't quite get there. No! I did, however, kill him the second time, and this is when my action skill finally came in, and oh boy was it useful. I laid waste to Boom very quickly, hopped on his gun, and broke the first rule of the challenge, but that's not the point. The point is, I got off the gun and killed the rest of the enemies the proper way, you know, with my massive muscles. I would have had Captain Flint underneath my thumb first try, however, he decided it would be really funny if he tickled my feet. He was easy enough in the end though, so I killed him, took his red chest, and got onto Claptrap's ship. Next up, Sanctuary needed further protection from Handsome Jack's awesome space cannon, and after being the hero once again by providing it with a beacon that powers its shields, I was sent on another mission.
God damn it!
The mission was to find the Firehawk, and after fighting my way through Frostbound Canyon, I discovered the Firehawk was actually no one really that special, and just a person that could teleport. You know, nothing remarkable or anything. After feeding this Iridium crack addict her daily dose, we quickly got to blasting enemies. I then fed her some more crack as she's so desperate for it, and she was sad I didn't have any more, so she used her purple crack powers to teleport me away. For the next part of the game, I needed an upgrade for my vehicle in order to trick the idiots behind the gate that I was one of theirs and not an imposter, which you know, I was. So after a painful 10 minutes of chasing cars around with an axe and being killed multiple times, I finally had gathered enough Legos to add another vehicle to my collection. I had successfully tricked the Bloodshots into letting me be a guest at their tea party, and after finding out I was English, they weren't so happy and tried kicking me out. Badmore wasn't the hardest, however, once I went into the stronghold itself, it quickly became prominent that I was in fact a tad under-leveled. I very politely told the Bloodshots I needed to use the big boy potty and left, leveled up 2 more times, and returned to the exact same thing!
God fucking damn it!
After proceeding with the level and leveling up my character 1 more time in the process, I found Roland sat in a prison cell, where I promptly rescued him and then let him get kidnapped again because I thought it was funny. What wasn't so funny though was trying to fight a robot version of an ingrown toenail, which I damn well nearly died to too many times. Luckily, I'm a registered professional at being cool and saved Roland, and then he sent me, you guessed it, on another mission far, far away.
Oh my god!
After burning some funny looking crickets, a mysterious wizard with a sniper rifle awoke, by the name of Mordecai. Along with Mordecai's intel, I was able to acquire the assistance of Satan's own schizophrenic daughter, Tiny Tina. She then armed me with her favourite plushes, strapped to mini nukes, which I then used to perform a train robbery. This, ladies and bin weevils, was where I encountered by far one of the most annoying enemies I will encounter this run.
Motherfucker.
Fighting Wilhelm for me was the equivalent of fighting Mike Tyson on cocaine, as he sat me on my ass for every breath I took. However, after 20 minutes of careful and strategic action skill activation and usage of my melee throwing ability along with a few grenades, I was able to... Oh please, no! No! After 20 useless minutes of careful and strategic action skill usage, I just gave up and decided to use my first of 3 grenade mod uses. This made Wilhelm become a member of the No Longer Living Club, to which I was overcome with relief. After returning to Sanctuary with a fresh pair of pants, I was needed once again to put Sanctuary's electric toothbrush back on charge, but unfortunately for us, this toothbrush was off-brand. This required me to get more purple crack for Lilith, and upon injection, she phased Sanctuary away faster than my hopes and dreams. When roaming around Pandora for the next mission, I leveled up finally to the point where Krieg isn't slow as shit and can actually stand out of his wheelchair and fight for your life, which turned out to be one of the most helpful things during this run. Sanctuary reappeared, and all I had to do now was to acquire a beacon that I could use to travel back to Sanctuary. Unfortunately for me, this beacon was in the hands of my old imaginary friend, Montgomery Tapeworm, who was in fact very real and had grown a little bit since our last visit to my anus. But all lives have to end eventually. Rest in peace, Montgomery. After an unrecorded fight with Bloodwing, which I may add made me very annoyed, it was time to pay a visit to the Slab King himself, yes, the one, the only, Danny DeVito. After passing the initiation trials, Danny and I were attacked by Jack's evil robots in an attempt to steal his monster condoms for his magnum baton, which we obviously fought off with ease. As I had previously mentioned, we are both uber strong. This final step before my inevitable anal fisting was to get a copy of Handsome Jack's fart box in order to speak his secret password to get inside the inner walls of Bunker's lair. Handsome Jack's body double went down like a sack of potatoes, and after acquiring said fart box, I could smell my imminent torture. Any Borderlands player is aware of the challenge ahead, so in an effort to prepare myself, I did absolutely nothing, which was not a very wise decision looking back, as I was a tad underleveled. After careful consideration, I decided, nah, fuck this. I'll skip it. How hard could it be from here? Difficult. Difficult is the answer to that question. So, I cut my losses and made a U-turn back to my home sweet home. After farming some Warwick Davis sidewalks and a nice couple of side missions in Lynchwood, which, as a town, oh so gracefully accepted me into its loving community. What the fuck? Ambush! Ambush! Handed in all of my sexy side missions to absorb all those sweet, sweet enchantment bottles. AXP, AXP. Finally, it was time to return to bunker, and with my brand new dedicated RAM installed, okay. These constructors that you encounter on your journey to the bunker are the equivalent of spilling a jar of AIDS all over your favourite Fortnite plushie. The number of deaths I experienced in a mere 10-minute time frame was pure torture, and after getting just a cold ice pack away from killing it, come on, you mother... I needed to come up with an advanced and aggressive plan to completely humiliate this constructor, and this technique, ladies and gentle bums, solved all my masculinity problems. The smell of lubricated steel was getting stronger and stronger. I took out all 11 autocannons as requested by Danny DeVito, and in the process received free laser eye surgery. Next up was the fight I had been dreading this entire run, the BNK3R, or as it is commonly known in my bedroom as the Cheek Clapper 6000. My unbeatable plan to this fight would be sheer patience and unbridled determination, which, as you can see through this awesome split screen feature, was an effective approach. My peaceful life was shortly interrupted, however, as whilst attempting to regain my lost health, I unfortunately perished, and did so in a quiet and respectable manner. God no. Ah, fuck's sake! I simply couldn't take no for an answer, and used my second of 3 grenade mod uses to slowly whittle down Mr. Bunker's health, and through some more 2021 Fortnite streamer resolution, his health had finally reached the roundest number of all, 0. Copious amounts of joy overcame me as my hour-long torture sat in the dentist chair was over. Now was the time to put Jack's voice box to use and get inside to help Roland recover the key to the vault. So after speaking the magic password, the battle began. Every step taken in this godforsaken shit pit had me lasered, shot at, and burped like a little baby. Luckily, this torture session didn't last long, as before I knew it, I had destroyed all 3 of Angel's iridium injectors. With the key in my reach, nothing could go wrong now. After witnessing both a hate crime and kidnapping, it was my job to begin the grieving process by stealing Roland's loot. Now, I need to say this here and now because it had really annoyed me this had happened. My recording software isn't the most reliable, and therefore the fight with the big ass robot ass muncher, Saturn, as well as the Hyperion Info Stockade mission, was unrecorded. I believe I'll be able to fix this problem for next time, however, I am apologising for now. This is it, boys. The final stretch was here. Claptrap's little robot hands did the first useful thing ever for the first time in his life, by opening up a big ass door, and with him sadly unable to join me, I somberly left him. Bye. Upon arrival to Heroes Pass, I was not very happy to find out that once again, I was quite underleveled, and with every opportunity, these enemies handed my ass to me on a silver platter. Solid grit and determination were the only things keeping me going through the final journey of this run. Knowing that the end was close, I simply couldn't turn around now. I had to use every trick and speedrunning tip I knew to get past these final loaders. No! After finally running past all the Autobots, the final corridor was in sight, and with Jack's soon-to-be death just moments away, I knew my efforts were paying off. All I could do was enjoy my last moments in this fiery hellhole and mentally prepare for my fight with Jack, which Krieg took way too personally as he suddenly became the king of self-mutilation. Oh my god! Oh my god! Jesus Christ! He just kept hitting himself! Why? My game of tag with Jack came to a swift end after he called a timeout because I was playing too rough. With the key being pieced together, the warrior had been summoned, and it was now my time to shine. The end strategy was simple. Step 1, throw shit. Step 2, always make sure there's a nearby volcanic chrysalisk on low health in case I get down. And step 3, don't die. With these 3 simple rules, I was sure to kill the warrior. With my final grenade use equipped, slow and steady progress was made. This final battle took just 25 minutes. With patience and my unforgettable gaming skills, I had managed to successfully eradicate the Dragon Warrior. Jack's pet goldfish was now dead and showered me with loot that was utterly useless to me. The final moonshot was required to finally put down the sick dog, and now it was time for me to deal with the owner. And there we have it. Can you beat Borderlands 2 without the most prominent feature of the game? Yes. Is this relatively easy? Oddly enough, yes. If you liked what you watched today, please, please, please remember to email me your firstborn if you haven't already. And if you have any other ideas for challenges I could do not hesitate to leave a comment. Now, it is time to announce the final in-game stats. Total time in game, 17 hours, 45 minutes, and 5 seconds. Total fucks given about how hard this challenge was, none. And finally, total times I relapsed into severe mental deficiency, only 2.